Okay, I think we can jump to a G now, can't we? Let's see. Yeah, this probably clears as to be continued. Bring the bomb over here, yes, that wasn't here to me. Wait, are we just seconds before the TBC? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Let's see. This is all still the same as it was before. Shove it in, pile more dry ice on top of it, disregard your fucking hands, which were probably freezing while doing it. A miracle, the timer is still counting down, we get a video, the main music is in the background. And... was this not going to work? Achi and Kano held their breaths. Yeah, okay, fuck me, what? How do we continue then? Okay, guess we are at the point again where we do try out every single choice I have. Oh, let's see if I can find the right one quick enough so I don't have to cut too much out of this video. I hated having to cut this. Anyway, arresting her isn't enough, I'll make her pay with her life. If I don't sink to her level, I'll never be able to beat her. I mean, I tried to do the sensible thing and it was a bad end, I think. I don't think he's supposed to die here. I'll never be able to beat her. Stanley's heart had room for nothing but revenge. The law wasn't going to punish Alpha. Stanley was. Oh hell yeah. He didn't care if anyone else thought it was a petty vendetta. Only someone who'd suffered the loss of a loved one at the hands of a vicious killer could understand his seething resentment. Seething! Alright? The Okashi Pharmaceutical Lab finally came into view. A large billow of black smoke was rising from one of the building's windows. Stanley felt a chill in the pit of his stomach. He hopped out of the car and then gasped. Tateno! The detective was sprawled face down on the ground outside the laboratory gate, his gun still in his hand, which is also a bad end, so maybe we can change his fate? Who knows? Blood had pooled around his head. Maybe he's supposed to injure Alpha or something, and this would help Stanley. Maybe I'm supposed to go back to his route. He'd been shot at close range. Death would have been instantaneous. All too late, Stanley felt the full weight of his mistake. Tateno had gone up against an opponent who was out of his league, and had gotten himself killed. We've read all of this already, and Stanley had put him up to it. He should have never let Tateno try to handle his situation on his own. He should have done whatever it took to stop the detective. There must have been some way he could have averted this disaster. Wait a second, this is oddly familiar. The last time I read this, I thought as well, maybe I shouldn't have said what I said to him earlier, but do I really have to go back that far? He would do anything to save Maria. Yes, this is what he said, that's right. There had been no hesitation in Tateno's words. I don't think we can change his mind. Stanley had known how badly the man wanted to save Maria. That's why he deferred to the detective's judgment. Now he was faced with the results of his own naivety. And this is what she shoots him. The smoke pouring down from the building showed no signs of diminishing. In all likelihood, the lab had been destroyed with a bomb. Alfred's plan had run its course before Stanley had even got there. He couldn't forgive himself for having been so thoroughly outwitted. Nor would he ever forgive Alfred for what the terrorist had done. And any second now, anger erupted inside him, raging like hellfire, driving him onto action. Death would be too kind a fate for Alfred, now more than ever, before the thirst for vengeance consumed him. Yeah, here we go, it's exactly the same, isn't it? Let's see. He didn't stop pulling the trigger. It's exactly the same though. Intense searing pain? Yeah. There she is, looking great as ever, although kinda intimidating. I've been waiting for you to show up, Jack. Just look at her. Jesus Christ, she's so menacing. She's a JoJo villain. Another bullet tore through Stanley's body. Time seemed to slow for him. Yes, yes. He hissed the words through clenched teeth. He managed to shoot over and over and over and over and over again. He didn't stop pulling the trigger until the very moment his world went dark. Bad and I think it's the same I had before. I'm not Smartest guy to play this game. So what the fuck do we do? Give me a second to to think about what we're supposed to do here. You know what? Let's try our luck with Tateno now, because I do know that he's. Let's take a look at this together. It's a bad end. I do know he's not supposed to die, which means I have a different choice here and a different choice here. Let's try these out to see what happens. It doesn't matter what Hitomi says. I trust my own judgment. This is the sort of nonsense we don't have time for right now. I think trying to be sensible in this case didn't work. Alfred isn't sensible herself, so we shouldn't be it as well. It doesn't matter what Hitomi says. I trust my own judgment. Your own judgment, huh? And is that always correct? Kanan began punching in numbers. She never took her eyes off Tateno as she waited for Hitomi to pick up. Oh, maybe this is bad though. Maybe this is bad. She's not answering. Kanan hung up and tried calling again. Oh, we turned off the phone, thank God! It's me. Oh. It looked like she'd gotten through this time. The detective doesn't trust me. Apparently he thinks I'm Alfred, not Kanan. After a few moments, Kanan held the phone out to Tateno. Who did she fucking call? Here. Hitomi says I'm definitely Kanan. Tateno didn't reach out for the phone. Instead, he advanced on Kanan with his gun, still on its mark. Smart play, because she could be just acting here. This is a farce, Tateno spat. Hitomi's words don't mean a thing. You might be Kanan to her, but you aren't to me. I don't even know if there ever was a real person named Kanan in the first place. So maybe you're Kanan. And you're Alfred. That's right, no one fucking knows Kanan. No one except for Stanley, who saw the picture titled Kanan and Me, or Maria, who is currently unconscious. Possibly not even Osawa saw her, even though she's his daughter's best friend, apparently. Osawa, you're the weirdest and worst fucking father ever. Kanan shook her head and put her phone away. I guess I can't trick you then. If you're really Alfred, then you don't actually need to hack the password, Tateno said. I'm guessing you've already gotten it from Tanaka, which means you'll be able to get your hands on the antiviral as soon as you get into that lab. Kanan didn't so much as flinch. The only thing stopping you is the antiviral still in Hitomi Osawa's body. Possessing the antiviral and having a monopoly on it are two very different things. You want to eliminate Hitomi. That's why you lured her down to the scramble. Am I wrong? If that's true, then how am I planning on getting rid of her? Using this so-called substitute Alfred or something? Yes, that's right. Tateno couldn't be certain. But he couldn't think of any other way. Kanan let out a laugh. You don't know the first thing about Alfred, she said. Alfred keeps the outlines of his plans blurred so that his deliberate actions just get lumped in with the coincidences. That's the crux of all his plans. That's how he's able to pull off his schemes by himself. He'd never solicit help from a third party. The words seemed like they were Kanan's, but also seemed like they were Alfred's. This is nothing new, we've read through this by the way, but let's just include it for completion's sake. Whatever the case, Tateno had to let Kano know that Hitomi was in danger. With his gun still at the ready, he got out his phone and called the detective. Man, Tateno looks fucking intense, doesn't he? But the phone rang several times and nobody answered. Eventually he had no choice but to hang up. They must have been in the middle of a confrontation on the other end. For now, Tateno could only pray that Kano and the others would be able to handle whatever threat they were up against. I'm not letting you in there. There we go, this is a crazy unhinged smile again. At that, Kanan let out a faint chuckle. In that case, I'm going to have to eliminate you. Even without her gun raised, she still radiated intimidation. Tateno might have had her at gunpoint, but he could feel the threat of her presence like a gathering storm. Eliminate me? He said, doing his best to mask any sign of weakness. You're the one who doesn't have your gun ready. I don't need my gun, Kanan said simply. And why's that? Because you can't shoot me. What's that supposed to mean? Kanan glared sharply at Tateno. Her look pierced him like a blade. Then she quirked an unsettling smile and took a step closer to him. Don't move, he warned. Tateno said, try anything funny, I'll make sure you'll regret it. Or I don't want to pull this trigger if I don't have to. Wait a second, this is exactly the same so far. Maybe this isn't the way to save him. Do I have to go even further back? This is bullshit. Wait a second, let's take a look. Pull it. What? It doesn't change anything. Did we? We're still on the bad end. What the hell am I supposed to do? I can't send her in. I did this. I have a bad end. There's no choice other than going back all the way over to here, which doesn't change anything. I mean, the quavering voice. Let's take a look at that. Although I'm pretty sure this won't change anything, let's be honest. He was being completely serious. They were going to have to break through it by force. That's not what I want or need. Is there anything we can change with fucking Stanley? The warning. I've only did one of these. Maybe this will help. I'm sorry for being angry right now, but just shoot her. If you hesitate for a moment, she'll have you dead. Maybe this is what I need to tell him. Find some way to stall until I get there. If she realizes we're on to her, you're done for. Okay. Let's go for B. Find some way to stall. They told me several times that if only he had waited for Stanley to arrive. So I guess this is it. We can't shoot her. The only thing we can do is stall. So maybe not. Don't tell her that you know that she's Alfred. Tateno hung up without saying anything. It changed. Did it change anything though? Fuck. Okay, we have to do. Okay, we have to do this and this again. In the car, we have to deduce what's her goals again. This time though, we can aim at her again. Maybe we won't get a bad end. Let's aim at her again. Let's literally do the same thing we just did. Try anything funny. Wait. No. Let's go for. Sorry for this bullshit. Let's go for the bottom one first. I get the feeling threatening to shoot her is not the way to go. So let's. Oh, fuck me. Let's tell her that we don't want to shoot her. So we can continue talking, maybe? Kanan? Maybe we can have a really nice conversation with each other? That's what humans are supposed to do, you know? It's that you can't pull the trigger. I know. Kanan took another step closer. You're still traumatized from that time you let your friend's wife die. Like the little cuck you are, Tateno. How do you know about that? Tateno was shaking now, his aim wavering. Blah 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 blah. She had been there. Yes, let's test my theory out. Shoot me right here, pointing at her heart, looking crazy like that. Tateno's gun hand shook all the more. You're afraid to pull the trigger, you little cuck. It was as if her words were a spell that she was casting over him. You can hardly even stand the thought of pointing your gun at someone. Courtenay's final moments flashed through Tateno's mind. Oh crap. If he hadn't fired back then, maybe Courtenay would still be alive. No, she wouldn't. That dude was crazy and on drugs. Your friend's entire life was changed because of you. Why hadn't he tried to talk the culprit down? He knew the reason why. Because he'd loved Courtenay. He'd still loved her even after she'd become Daisuke's wife. His desire to be the one who saved her had warped his sense of judgment when things had come to the wire. He didn't trust in anyone else. This is what he would need to do now. Trust Stanley to do the right thing. All you have to do is stall. I think we're on a different timeline now. Tateno, do you not enjoy being with me? There was a forlorn look on Courtenay's face. It wasn't that he didn't enjoy being with her. Her very presence soothed him. But the more serious their relationship had grown, the more it tore at Tateno's heart. The truth was that he didn't really know what happiness was, and so he was incapable of making someone else happy. Oh, I know that feel, man. That's pretty fucking bad. If it were possible, he'd want Courtenay to be smiling always. And that meant her being with someone other than him. That's what you call hating yourself, by the way. I think it would be best if we stopped seeing each other. Tateno blurted out the words bluntly, and Courtenay's face fell. He hadn't broken up with her because of any lack of feeling for her. Rather, the impulse had actually sprung out of his pursuit of human warmth, and his growing fear of losing it. He'd just been so uneasy. More than anything, He'd been afraid that he wanted too much love and affection from Kotone. Poor guy, Tateno is really a tragic figure, isn't he? As much as I like to call him a cuck. He's not really. I mean, he's not. He's not. He didn't watch, at least. Bit by bit, Tateno lowered his gun, his hand ever more unsteady. His heart was on the cusp of breaking. And still, Kanan continued with a diabolic whispering. You can go ahead and kill me? But if it turns out I'm not Alphard, what then? Now she stared at Tateno with an almost pitiable look. Show me! Show me! Please! I need this! You'll have once more done something that you can never undo. Something I can never undo. Tateno repeated the words dully, feeling himself forced into a trance. That's right. Could you ever accept that? No, I couldn't make the same mistake. His whole body felt like it might fall apart. He wanted to drop to the ground and curl up in a ball like a child. And that's why you can't shoot anyone. I can't shoot anyone. As Tateno muttered the words, Kano's face appeared in the back of his mind. I can! Tears fell from Kano's eyes as he looked down the barrel of his gun at Tateno. Oh my god, he was really crying. He'd become a detective who didn't lose sight of what he was supposed to protect, no matter the situation. Tateno had nearly forgotten. Nearly abandoned his inward promise to be a detective worthy of that final salute Kano had given him. He brought his gun back up to bear. Don't be absurd, Kanan mocked. You can't shoot anyone. Try me, bitch. Actually, I can. The words creaked dryly from Tateno's throat. When there's something I'm supposed to protect, I can shoot. The memory of Kano weeping but taking aim had given him the resolve he needed to face down an opponent who ought to have terrified him. I learned that from someone who was terrible at his job. Too late, Tateno. Oh, this will be a double kill or something. He at least injures her, which is enough for Stanley, I think. I think he has to die anyway. Kanan's eyes went cold. Immediately she lifted up her gun again. Once more, their eyes locked, sparks of hostility crackling between them. But almost immediately, Tateno could sense difference in skill between his opponent and himself. The young woman radiated a deadly aura. Oh yeah. The force of her stare was like a knife pressed to his throat. She had borne witness to carnage and bloodshed, the likes of which he couldn't even imagine. He couldn't win this. She would kill him, guaranteed. Tateno braced himself for death, never taking his eyes off Kanan's. If nothing else, he needed to buy time for Kano to get that password. But he could do that, given the opponent he faced. Could he do that, given the opponent he faced? Yes. Somehow, he would do it. As a detective. As a man. Even if he had to give his own life to succeed. They're gonna shoot at the same time, calling it now, even if it couldn't come close to making up for the sins he had committed. It wasn't that bad, looking back at it, I think. End! Oh, not a bad end though. Woo! Of his story. And